Season 2, like, here. Season 3, like, here. Like, they just, crazy. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca. If you haven't been here before, Happy New Year. I'm so excited to start doing videos again. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of Cobra Kai Season 3. It came out on January 1st, and me and my boyfriend have watched all the other seasons, and I've watched, obviously, The Karate Kid, which is where Cobra Kai comes from. So if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, this is going to be spoilers because I'm going to talk about it. But I highly suggest you stop this video, go watch the series, go watch The Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and check back in, click back to this video, and then enjoy it with me. So to start, I'm just going to basically give you my opinion on the season. I wrote a list as I was watching it with my boyfriend, and let me just say it was wild. The first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Aisha is not in this season of Cobra Kai, which I thought was really weird. I loved Aisha as a character, and I really hate that they cut her. I feel like there are multiple reasons why it's messed up that they took her out. For one, I felt like she was a representation of bigger women, and I liked seeing the range in body types that existed in the show, and then they just took her out. And if you look at this season, it's really all relatively thin girls and then really strong buff guys who actually look like they're 40. So it bothered me that they removed her from the series. They said that maybe she would come back in the next season. The other thing is that I also feel like she was a representation of like women of color. It just seems messed up that they decided to remove her when I just felt like she was such a unique character. She was a unique person, and she brought another level to the series. So that's my first complaint about this season. Overall, I also wanted to say that I like the series because it gives an alternate perspective to the original Karate Kid movie. So if you have seen it, which I assume you have because you're watching this video, the Karate Kid movie shows Daniel LaRusso, who is the main character, moving across country from Newark, New Jersey, and he moves to California, and he starts getting pretty heavily bullied by Johnny and his crew, who are all members of Cobra Kai. So what you really see is that Daniel is, you know, the one who is suffering, and Johnny is the instigator of violence. But in the Cobra Kai series, we get an alternate perspective because we get to see how Johnny feels about the whole situation. And not to say that, you know, he feels like he wasn't the bully, so he isn't, but there was definitely another side to the story, you know. Daniel LaRusso moves across country, meets Johnny's girlfriend, starts hitting on her, and that really made Johnny feel insecure and threatened. He also, you know, didn't have a great home life, even though Daniel assumed that he did because he was wealthy. He definitely didn't have like a great connection with his family. So not excuses for, you know, beating the crap out of a kid, because that's never okay, but just giving you an alternate reality to what happened is really cool with the series. So another part that I wanted to talk about is, like, this season jumped from, last season was like, we are dueling karate dojos, we are fighting to be the #1 in California or in, you know, the Valley, to I'm literally gonna murder you this season. Like, there was multiple parts where Cruz was like, I'm going to kill you. He tried to kill Johnny, he tried to kill Daniel. So this season went from like, oh, like, we are students battling it out, karate, to literally being like, I'm gonna murder you. Like, there was a part where they're in the laser tag area and they're fighting each other, Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai, and they break Dimitri's arm. What? Like, what? Like, they literally broke his arm. I was like, what? Like, that is ridiculous. So the violence went from like, I'm gonna kick you in the face, or I'm gonna battle you in like a normal, not normal, but like in a bullying way. Like, they were like, oh, we're gonna fight each other to, you know, because this is our territory, to literally like, oh, I'm going to stab you with a piece of glass, or like, I'm going to like break your whole body. So it was just crazy to me. It went from 0 to 100 real quick. It escalated, and in parts I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, these students are battling it out, I get it, but to the point where they're like, I'm gonna kill my friends. Like, it was just insanity. Just like way too much. Like, I was like, what is happening? One of my other favorite parts of the show is when Robbie is captured and going to juvie. So Daniel's like, Robbie, turn yourself in, like, I'm here for you. And then instead of giving Robbie the opportunity to make the decision for himself to turn himself in, Daniel's like, turn yourself in, but like, I already called the cops and they're on their way and they're here. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, Daniel should have brought Robbie home, cleaned him up, told him that everything was okay, that he is loved, that he made a mistake, and that everything's gonna be fine, they're gonna work it out. Explain to him why legally the best option is for him to turn himself in. And then had Robbie like agree to go to the police station. Rather than being like, Robbie, turn yourself in, but like, I already called the cops on you. Like, that's not turning yourself in. That's Daniel, you turned him in. That's different. And then Daniel's like, Robbie, I promise I'm gonna visit you every day, I promise. And Robbie's like, don't. Which is fine because he's angry. Daniel didn't go and visit Robbie once. Like, not even one time did Daniel go visit Robbie. Like, did we not notice? He just didn't go. And I get that Robbie told him not to come, but I would have tried at least 2 or 3 times, you know, like, to see him. So I know he called him on the phone, but literally ridiculous. Like, Daniel didn't even visit him one time. Johnny visited him and Daniel didn't. So that was interesting to me that, like, not even once in the entire series in the entire season did Daniel go visit him in juvie. That's the tea. And then, like I was saying before, this season literally went from like dueling karate dojos who have like students who don't really like each other and are battling, to these seriously hard storylines where it's like going to juvie, going to jail, domestic violence and abuse. Like when Tori's landlord is like, ooh girl, like if you don't want to pay rent, like we can figure something out, you know, way sketchy. Like serious injuries, you know, broken back, trying to walk again, and then Dimitri's broken arm and other things, and like all these near-death experiences and like the students wanting to murder each other. So the series went from like a fun teen show where they're battling each other to like I don't even have words. Like the increase between the 2 seasons is just crazy. Like the difference between them, very wild. Another thing I wanted to talk about, Robbie's hair. Okay, so even if you are watching this and you don't watch the series and you're just being supportive, hi, I love you. But look up Robbie from Cobra Kai and look at his haircut in like season 1 and 2 versus season 3. And first of all, did he dye his hair? Like, why is it all of a sudden dark brown? Like, and they don't even address it. They're just like, his hair color is different now. He is a brunette. And I'm like, did he dye it because he's on the run? Or does he not have time to dye it blonde anymore because he's on the run? Was he dyeing his hair this whole time? But also, they give him a new cut, and oh my gosh, is it so much better than his bowl cut. Like, what was happening there? In season 1 and 2, they were like, ooh, Robbie, like, other hot character that people will like, and his hair is like here, and like the worst angular bowl cut I've ever. Just very coconut head from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, but longer and no bangs. It was just awful. And now he cut his hair and he is like so beautiful. He looks amazing. So love that they cut his hair and then dyed it brown for some reason. Another part that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so first of all, if you are watching Cobra Kai season 3 and you've watched season 1 and season 2, you absolutely have to watch the 2nd and 3rd movies. I hadn't seen them before I watched the season, but it took away from my understanding of what was happening because they're trying to tie them in. And definitely for season 4 going on, you're gonna have to watch them because they're tying it in constantly. So I would suggest doing that before you watch season 3. I mean, it wasn't detrimental, it didn't ruin the experience because they do have flashbacks, but there were parts where like things were uber dramatic that I didn't understand and I had to have Mike explain it to me. Like there's a part where they're at a bar and they're cutting ice for them and to like put in their drinks, and it's like really serious music, and I'm like, what is happening? Why is this so intense, this moment where they're just putting ice in their glasses to drink alcohol? And Mike was like, oh, there was like a really serious scene in the second movie where Daniel has to like punch through a bunch of ice. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But me not having seen that, I was like, this is a really weird, awkward scene. Oh, okay, another thing we have to talk about is how quickly Miguel healed. I get that like maybe the timeline of the story is not super obvious to us. Like we don't know how many months it's been, but Miguel broke his back in the second season, like at the very end, and he heals within weeks. And Johnny's methods of trying to get him to heal are like dangling a Playboy magazine in front of him and like shouting at him to stand up. And this man who has like no medical expertise, is low-key an alcoholic, like has only ever been in a karate dojo, and he like helps Miguel heal over his like physical therapist who's coming to visit him once a week. So it was just crazy to me the way that they portrayed that. And then, you know, Miguel all of a sudden is like, I can walk and I'm fine, which is great, because he was like previously possibly paralyzed from the waist down. So very happy that he can walk, very happy that he can partake in the, you know, karate. But then they're like, oh, Miguel, like, there's like one episode where Miguel's like struggling to do karate, and then the next episode he's like beating the crap out of someone. And first this is another point that I want to make. So Kyler, who is like one of the original bullies, is beating the crap out of Miguel, and he's like super proud of it because Miguel fought him in season 1, and so I guess this is like revenge for him. But he's beating the shit out of this kid who was paralyzed a week ago. Oh, like a week ago, Miguel is paralyzed from the waist down. And Kyler's like, yeah, I got you, man. Like, you thought you could win, but I'm the winner. Like, ha ha ha. Like, I'm stronger than Miguel. I can beat him up. Like, I'm better at karate. And I'm like, dude, he just got out of a wheelchair. Like, what? Why are you proud of beating up this previously paralyzed kid? Like, he just healed. So just like, Kyler's like, yeah, I'm the man, and I'm like, no, you're not, because Miguel isn't even at full strength yet, and he still kicked your butt at the end. So I was just like, why would you be proud of that? I'm like, oh my god. Okay, I'm only going to talk about 2 more things because I had a bunch of things on my list, but I don't want this video to be like super duper long. So 2 things. 1, Allie comes back in season 3, which is dope because I love the original cast returning to the movie, and they don't even have like other actors who are playing those characters. Like, these are the real characters from the Karate Kid. Like, these are the actual people who are in them as adults coming back to do the show. So I absolutely love that. I think that's so cool. You know, Ralph Macchio's in it. He plays Daniel. So that's definitely cool. But Allie comes back and she's like been messaging Johnny, you know, on the web, which is funny because Johnny doesn't know how to use the internet, so he's super struggling. But she calls Johnny and she's like, hey Johnny, like, let's go out to lunch together. And it's definitely flirtatious, and I'm like, Allie, why didn't you call Daniel? Like, Allie literally was dating Daniel, was in a relationship with Daniel, left Johnny for Daniel, and doesn't even call Daniel to be like, hey, I'm in town, do you want to hang out? Like, she only calls Johnny? What? And then we're just supposed to forget about the fact that Johnny was like a low-key, high-key, terrible boyfriend who was kind of abusive, like, and controlling and manipulative, and kissed her without her consent? What? No. We don't forget. We don't forget like that. And then lastly, this is on the same line of story. Hawk broke Dimitri's arm. He broke his arm. And then the big kid who looks like he's 40 is holding Dimitri with his arm like, and there's another opportunity for Hawk to break his arm again, and Hawk is like, I have decided that my ways were wrong. I'm coming in here and I'm actually changing sides, flipping the switch, and I am now team Miyagi-Do / Cobra Kai, but not Kreese. So he comes in and he kicks this 40-year-old man who's playing a 17-year-old boy in the face. And then he turns to Dimitri and he's like, and Dimitri's like, are you gonna kill me? Like, are we just fighting everyone at this point? And Hawk's like, sorry, bro, like, for everything. And Dimitri's like, we're friends again. And I was just like, Hawk literally broke your arm. He snapped your arm. He broke your arm. What? Who forgives that quickly? I have a hard time forgiving people for like much less than breaking my arm. If you broke my arm, we might never ever talk again. Yeah, just like, what is happening? So yeah, I don't understand the forgiving Hawk so quickly. I'm like, who trusts this kid? Who is he? Why is he here? He was so mean for so many seasons. Like, I don't understand. So yes, that is my review of Cobra Kai Season 3. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you watched the season or the whole series, or you haven't watched it at all but you're just like thinking about watching it. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this, if you agree with some of my points, if you have any other things that literally blew your mind from the series and you're just like, I can't believe we didn't talk about this, this is ridiculous, because Season 3 was literally... Season 3 was just off its rocker. Yeah, I can't even describe the amount of like wild behavior and activity. I mean, Tori was just, I didn't even want to get into her because I feel like Tori has no redeeming qualities. So I am not here for Tori. I do not like her. She's way too much like Kreese, in my opinion. But thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe, hit that bell, all those YouTube-y things. And I will see you again next time with another video. One more thing, I'm going to be starting to upload my videos on Fridays. I don't know if I'm going to be doing 2 videos a week consistently because I have school coming up again, but I'm going to try and do 2 videos a week, and if I can, I'll definitely get one out. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!